So I wanted to do this little addendum to me and LL's podcast on Thumbling's Travels, the Grimm's Brothers story. Uh, like at the end of the story, we'd kind of concluded that it was more just a fun adventure story, and it doesn't seem to have the depths of some other stories that have more transformation and personal psychological depths. I mean, some of that might be true, but I do think that this story has some depths and some points of interest that I wanted to talk about. And please add anything in the comments that you'd like to about your thoughts about this story, what you enjoyed about it, or some insights you might have had or have read about. Or please share some interesting or enjoyable video clips or any articles or anything or versions of this that I don't know about. I'm just getting into these fairy tales. So, um, just looking at details from this story, Thumbling's father is a tailor, and he uses a tailor's instrument when he gives the needle to his son, and he puts the little ball of wax on it as the handle. So he gives this needle to his son, and it's like a sword. So he uses this tailor's instrument to, instead of sew together the pieces of the world, break it apart. And Thumbling, or in English, Tom Thumb, he reveals the things that the wearers would prefer hidden. Um, for instance, when he goes to the innkeepers and finds that the servant girls, the maids, are stealing, he reveals that to the innkeeper, and so he shines a light. Also, in the episode where he uh, falls in with, or is almost maybe coerced to join the gang of robbers, he steals from the king's treasury, and I thought that might be a sign of the corruption of the king, that this is ill-gotten gains by the king, and he's sort of redistributing it in some way, not exactly to the populace, but at least bringing some justice to what who is ostensibly a corrupt king. And of course, he mocks these people as they are trying to chase him. So his size becomes a an advantage here, whereas in many situations it would become a disadvantage. So that's again how he's kind of a reversal kind of character. Like he he brings truth to the world. He balances things out in a way. Another thing that I thought about his character is that because of his diminutive size, he's a hero that we can all relate to. He's kind of the opposite of like a Greek god, especially someone like Apollo, who is very intimidating, who is ruthless in many ways and aloof and cold. Apollo is the Greek god of truth, and his arrows cause the death of people before the Trojan War because they've been sacrilegious. But Tom Thumb is very different, or Thumbling is very different, and I wonder, and we sort of want to, maybe because of his tiny size, he is the size of a thumb. We want to embrace him as long as we don't mock him, want to mock him. And it is hard to mock him because of his sort of pluckiness, his courage. And I thought this is kind of like more like a Christian way of thinking, Christian archetype, where the low man, physically low, is the hero rather than the high man. Uh, another observation about the story is that it also emphasizes the parents, or at least the father's perspective. in that Thumbling in several ways, but more with the overall story. But so Thumbling requests to go out into the world. He wants to make his way, and of course, he has kind of a hero's journey. He ends up approaching death in the guts of the cow, and also in being chopped up, almost being chopped up in the blood pudding. Excuse me, the black pudding. And he's small in size, so he kind of resembles a baby his whole life. And also, he returns home at the end of the story rather than founding his own at the end of the story. And when he returns home, he is welcomed, even, you know, so that sort of emphasizes the parent aspect of the story. And another thing, this goes along what I was saying before about how he brings balance to the world, how his smallness is uh, is used to his advantage in some ways. I think the story, rather than being just a series of adventures to showcase his wit and his courage, it's more about the irony of his smallness. His courageous character, belies his smallness. He has a heart bigger than most men, and there is an unmasking to the hypocrisy in the world. The at the inn, which provides food and shelter, he gets kicked out, so he shelter is not provided to him after a while. He almost gets killed, so an inn usually helps you to survive, and he is he becomes food, almost becomes food rather than getting sustenance as you would normally at an inn. uh and yeah, he just shows the hypocrisy of the innkeepers. Maids want to steal, um and the king and his guards guard the treasure, and they would like everyone to think of them as upright and high and noble, and people like robbers as as low and bad and everything. But when Thumbling joins the robbers group, he's able to show their value and the maybe lack of value of the king and his regime. So yeah, those were most of my thoughts on this story that I wanted to add to our searching around in this story. Finally, yeah, just talking about the gift of Thumbling. So the sole gold coin he has is the one he rides out of the king's treasure chambers as he's escaping the king and the guards back to the robbers. And that's the one coin he brings back when he's with the fox to his father. And I just thought that was kind of emblematic of his being a gift to the world, a gift of honesty, unmasking, uh, um, and kind of being the opposite of his father, who's may as a tailor is kind of an upstanding member of society, but one that goes along with the crowd, one that clothes everyone in the clothing that they use to show who they want others to see them as, or to show their position in society and things. He is in a way, again, the irony of his size here, an advance spiritually from his father. And he does that all while developing himself. So, yeah, Thumbling brings back a gold coin, and he himself is a gift. And that gold coin, that soul coin, is a symbol of his being a gift to the world and to his parents, to his father. And that's probably partially why his father accepts him back with open arms, willing to give up everything in a way, give up at least all his chickens to the fox to have Thumbling back, and is glad to pay that price. So yeah, I hope you found this interesting, and please again link me to any thoughts or resources you have about Thumbling's travels or Tom Thumb or anything like that. Thank you.